and it was really, really wild. About a boy was inspired by listening to a friend who was going through some stuff, and or talking to a friend about a friend that was going through some stuff, and yeah, it was just like a beautiful. I think I asked kind of what they were talking about or what it was about, and they were like, oh, it's about a boy. And I was like, okay, that is a great song title. Because immediately, I don't know, it just like I knew, I didn't even have to ask, right? Like I knew there was something to that. It carried emotion. There seemed to be a story already there. I didn't even have to know the story, I guess, to feel like I've heard the story of just being sad about something. And I guess the more that we wrote it, the more that we explored it, the more I kind of wanted a verse that sort of took ownership of mistakes and sort of admitted and apologized for, it was one of the first songs I've ever written from like multiple perspectives, and so it allowed us to kind of explore. It allowed me to learn how to write from multiple sort of places in the song, and speak as multiple different people in the story, I guess. So it was and it's always been one of my favorites. I don't know. I think it's just because it is so vulnerable and honest, and it also kind of feels like a bridge from some of my past sounds to some of the sounds we explored for this album. And I loved how it kind of brought all of them together. And it's one of those songs too that like we wrote it in an hour and a half. Both of these songs, About a Boy and Victory, were written relatively quickly, and that's always kind of just a sign that everybody in the virtual room is it's just like locked into the concept and the idea. So it's kind of cool. If you haven't heard it, I can't wait for you to hear it. If you have heard it, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. And that was technically the last single release before the album release next month. So super pumped about that. And yes, I would love to answer questions. The other, real quick, because I asked you guys on my story, the other question I got a lot was Victory. Where did that come from, etc. And to be honest, I can't remember how that came up. It may have been a title that I walked in with. It may have been something I was just feeling. It may have been something I kind of feel like that song accidentally wrote it. I mean, all songs write themselves. You're just kind of there for it. But I kind of feel like that's one that was written like in order, like sort of like we started with the verses and the chorus just kind of came to be. If I remember that correctly, I could be wrong on that. It's really cool that like in Rick Rubin's book, he talks about like even if you think you remember how a song was written, very often you don't remember, because it's so true. I related to that part in the book so much, because writing songs is such a mystery. I've written a ton of them, and I still can't, I can tell you kind of where some of them came from, but it is just a beautiful, mysterious process. But yeah, it was just fun to write them, write Victory, just about process and healing and how healing is process. It's not you do work and then one day you're done. You do the work, you keep doing the work, you keep showing up to do the work, and life throws you stuff all the time. And the lesson that I learned very quickly was to focus on counting the victories, or just like noticing the victories, focusing on the victories, focusing on the wins, focusing on the good things. There's that line, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but I think I'm okay with that. I relate to that. I think that's just like, that's life, you know what I mean? That's growth. So, so I'm excited for you guys to hear it if you haven't already. And yeah, what questions do you have? Have you ever been to Alaska? I got to go last summer. It was pretty lit. I actually got to do some flying in Alaska. I didn't actually get to fly, but it was really cool to be in a I think it was a Cessna 180 something. Yeah, it was super sick. We're finally going back on tour, guys. Red Sky Tour. We'll be hitting the road in May. It's my first tour in like 4 years, and I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Cue the drum fill from I Can Feel It Call on the Air Night. Yeah. Let's see here. Hopefully get to go back to the UK for some shows. For sure. Have you achieved your Pilot Hunter dreams? Sort of. I'm flying more lately, which is nice. I really miss flying. I'm a student pilot, for those of you who may or may not know. Love being in the air. Love everything around aviation. Not easy to set aside a lot of time for that as we work on music stuff, but yeah, I've been able to fly after a couple shows, and like a couple cities that we went to last year. I had some friends out in those areas, and we got to stay a couple extra days and get some time in the air. It's really, really special. Can we expect more music videos? Actually, there is a really cool, maybe, yes. I think that's all I can say. Yeah. Thank you for the congrats on the tour. I'm really, really excited. And I can't wait to see you guys. This is a really special one because we're doing a lot of things for the first time. It'll be a lot of firsts on this tour. Yeah. Would love to say hey in Atlanta. Absolutely. Oh, Cora, what's the biggest goal you have to become a victory this year? Biggest goal? Honestly, I have a lot of music that I made for this album, and a lot of music for this album that didn't actually make the album. So I think a goal is to figure out how to maybe put more music out, you know? I'll just sort of leave it at that. I don't want to create any expectations, but yeah, I want to put out more music and do more shows. I don't know that I have a favorite song on the album, man. Because we dwindled it down from 50 or something songs, it's they're all pretty special to me. I'm really biased. But I do love Wallflower. I've always loved Wallflower. I can't wait for you to hear it. About a Boy is a special one. I don't know, it's felt very... I don't know, I've just loved the song since the day we wrote it. And I've been excited to put this out for a long time. And I love kind of how Victory and About a Boy are from two totally different ends of a story, you know? So yeah. How was creating an independent album compared to past albums? Well, it was wild. It was wild. I'm used to being in a room with about 20 people when we listen to songs and sort of raise our hands for the ones we like, and we, end up making... I wouldn't say we made decisions based on a spreadsheet, but we made a spreadsheet of who liked what song and what comments, and even though, like I said, I didn't make decisions based purely on that did influence my decisions, and this was the first time where I got to really go with my gut, which is scary. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying at first. But then it just felt good to trust it. And every time I trusted it and just tried stuff, even the stuff that didn't go well led me somewhere else. And there was movement when I started trusting myself, and yeah, I think this whole process, this whole independent album, it's so nice to, there's so many advantages. There's so many positives, so many pros. And I think that was the greatest lesson of this whole process, was learning to trust myself and go with it, So yeah, can't wait for you to hear the remainder of the songs from the project. if you could pick any artist to open for you, I that's a really cool question. There are quite a few, and I have asked quite a few, and I don't know. We're planning a lot depends on a lot when it comes to opening slots on this particular tour. I don't know, like, timing wise, logistics. There's a lot of sort of really tricky parts, but I know that I've talked to in the past for other shows. I've already talked to Blue Eyes because I really want to do some shows with her. Sam DeRosa, who I wrote with on this project, I'm a massive fan. Also Frawley, who wrote with me on Victory, and also wrote with me on another song called Feelings. Big fan. So yeah, there's a lot of artists that I don't know. It's like there's a lot of artists that I'm a really big fan of, and I like assume all of my fans have heard them, but also just in case they haven't, I'd want to make sure they do. Yeah. How do I feel about this year so far? It's wild how like quick it's going by, but I also think that it was just like so chaotic for the first 4 weeks or so, and then I finally got to take a break, which kind of helped me go from record making mode to touring mode, which again, it's been so long since I've done a tour, you know. Oh, hey, Malibu. It's where a lot of this this album was made, out there in Malibu and Topanga. So West Coast record. Are we doing vinyls? Yeah, we are, actually. I got to announce that not too long ago. Red Sky is going to be it's available now. You can check it out. We did a limited edition, which is really, really sweet. It's kind of like a sunset print, and then naturally we did like a red. I think it's like a red translucent, maybe, or light kind of comes through. Yeah, it's a really cool, I guess, presentation of Red Sky. And also, like, all of my projects, I think about them and we work on them sort of from vinyl first. I'm a vinyl collector, I guess, so it's nice to... I always think of albums and put albums together in the context of what will it be like when it's on vinyl, what will it be like when it's on an album, actual album. Yeah, so there you go. Appreciate all the kind words, guys. That's really, really cool. Will I ever release Jet Black Mustang? Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I love where all these different places in the world that you guys... Ooh, okay, Miss You Nights. Interesting you ask about that. How are you taking you time? What do you do to relax? I have no idea how to relax. I have been learning how to, I guess, unwind a little bit. The best thing I've done, man, this week we lost power in Nashville for like 24 hours, and it was so, like, I very clearly needed like that kind of break. Didn't look at my phone, obviously didn't open my laptop. Just read, sat outside, just enjoyed the birds, indoor traffic, and yeah, just like unplugged from the world. We talked about this on our AMP show, the Hear Me Out show that I do every Tuesday, last night. But it's sometimes, I think the best way for me to relax, and I've kind of tried to put this into a daily practice, even more than relaxing, is, you know, the more I feel like I consume on, you know, whether it be social media or, you know, if I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc., doesn't matter what it is. If I'm consuming stuff from the world around me, a lot of that stuff gets curated by an AI engine for me, and it's sort of like there's a world that's curated for you to live in. And when I turn my screen off, it allows me to sort of create my own world to live in. That's where I can give positivity, I can give good energy, I can give love, and yeah, I've been kind of trying to do a little bit more of that and figure out how to incorporate more of that into my life, you know? yeah. So, are you planning on moving out of? So the way that I like to work is for every album I've tried to go somewhere, whether it's to start it and write it, or it's to make it and work on it. I like kind of disappearing into an album, and I like to give an album as much room as possible, so we don't like book studio days where we show up and we leave. It's, I find a place that allows me to sort of like breathe, and we just start working, and I work on the album until it feels like it's done, and I love that because it sort of just gives you space to collect all of the ideas. Referencing again the Rick Rubin book that I think is just incredible. To give space for all of these things to happen and to notice, it sort of allows you to notice more that's happening. And it's just really good for the creative heart and the creative process, just giving it time. So, great question, Kyle. Do you write song titles and listen inward for lyrics? Kind of, yeah. Most of the time, I start with a title only because, like, the title is not an end goal, but it's kind of like if I were to give you the idea in 2 words, what is it, right? Or 3 words. It's distilling a series of feelings or a whole storyline into a very small thing. So, somebody's asking about PEI, by the way, Cavendish. That's actually where this album started. I wrote Wallflower, another song called Dylan, which I don't know if I'll ever put out in the world, but and a few other songs on a trip that I took before my last time at the Cavendish Festival. So it's a special place, a special place in my heart. A lot of just a lot of good memories starting the writing process and just seeing as how he released About a Boy years later, where there are changes to its original sound. What's funny? I produced this with a few different people, a few different times. The version you hear now, I got to work on with my buddy Ruslan, who's a phenomenal producer. And Ruslan and I work really well together, I think, for a lot of reasons, one of which he's just great at being brutally honest. And he always says it in a kind way. He cares about the music, and you can feel that. You can feel it in the care that's taken and the decisions that are made. And truthfully, a lot of what we did was going back to an original version that I had done, like a demo that I had done for the song. And we just kind of started back from where the demo left off and kind of just paid attention to what we felt like the demo had right about it, and kept following that path, So yeah, it changed a lot, and then we ended up kind of going back to the original and learning from the original. That happened quite a few times on this album. Like every song I think went through Victory, man. Victory, I started, again, Ruslan and I kind of went back to the demo for Victory, because I did 2 or 3 other versions of the song that were cool and they were fun and they were exciting and interesting, and but they didn't really match the lyric. They didn't really match the emotion of the song, Yeah. Trying to read and respond at the same time. Both of the new songs, Victory and About a Boy, they're both out today. Yay. And I'm not very good at reading quickly too, so confessions. Any advice for singer-songwriters? If you can check out Rick Rubin's book, there's a lot there. I just felt like I read through the whole thing and there wasn't one page where I didn't feel like, oh my God, this is making sense of my entire experience as a creative, just like as a everything that I've done, singer, songwriter, artist, producer, musician, like, I don't know, it's just like it really made sense of a lot of life. And it also speaks to creativity in general and how everyone is creative. We all have some form of our being that is creative. Some of us might not define it that way or might not see it that way, but we all have creativity. We're all creative beings, you know? So yeah, I think it's called the Creative Act. Yeah, if you get a chance to check it out, it's incredible. Really, really. Appreciate you saying that about Invisible. That's amazing. For some reason, I don't know why I took that song out of the show for several years. I think just because I thought I was supposed to just do high energy stuff for a while. But we have finally put that song back in the show. And I'm very excited. Yeah. So. Other... Ella? Do you want to come answer some questions? Ella? Ella, come hang out with me. Come here. Come here. She's my security detail as well. So, emotional support dog, security detail. She kind of bounces around, Cole's just chilling in the corner. Do I enjoy any other creative hobbies? I mean, music's all-consuming for me in a really good way. Like, I am so grateful for how much I love music, because if I get bored with, or if I get sick of sort of one part of my process, I can skip to another part of my process and, get really technical and do engineering stuff, or I can be super creative and just, like, I've hours of just piano music that I kind of want to put out this year at some point. Let me know if that's something that you would listen to. Favorite guitar to play right now? I have found this amazing little nylon, this small little guitar that I normally have on every live, because it's just like it's wild because it was handmade by somebody. No one knows, like, when I bought it, they didn't have any information on it. It was just like something that somebody made. It's a smaller scale, it's nylon strings, and it's one of those guitars you look at and you're like, there's no way that that's going to intonate very well. Like, there's no way that that's going to play in tune. But it does. And it's all over the album. Like, it's on About a Boy, it's on Normal, it's on Victory. I think it's on Victory. I can't remember. I wrote it on... No, I didn't. I didn't write that on Victory. I didn't write Victory on that. But it's an amazing little guitar. Love it. Yes to piano music. All right. Sweet. How can we request a few older songs for the tour? I'm so glad you asked. I'm actually putting together little mashups and medleys of older stuff that we haven't played in years, and because the whole Red Sky tour, just so you guys know, spread the word, please. But the Red Sky tour is about the road trip from there to here. I'm so grateful for every song that I've put out, all but one, and so I'm grateful for everything that I've experienced with all of these songs. So I wanted to include a little bit of everything. There's early stuff. There's middle time up, stuff. So yeah, you can text me. You can text me your song requests. A lot of people have already texted me. We've put together an Excel sheet for that, to figure that out. And yeah, I love these requests too. Gotten a lot of Rainy Season. Gotten a lot of Loving You. Gotten a lot of the acoustic love song type stuff. Definitely doing Storm Warning. And yeah, so let me know what you want to hear. We'll put it together. Also, I'm really excited for this song, Love Too Much. That's a great one. And when I say that's a great one, what I mean is that has a great place in my heart. Because I love that song very deeply, and I don't ever get to play it. We only really played it on one tour, so I'd love to change the show quite a bit, because I know so many of you guys are coming to more than one show. You always have, and so when we when we put together the set list for this show, we're kind of looking at a rotating set list, if you will, a couple of spots in the show that can change. I'm a big fan of putting together a consistent show, but like I said, I mean, so many of you guys travel to multiple shows, and I want to give you multiple different experiences. So we're working hard. We're working hard, and it will be worth it. So a 16-hour-long set list, yeah. That's a lot. I don't even know how to read that question, but I think I understood it. Sick going to all 4 California dates. Yo, sick. I mean, first few shows of the tour are always the most, like, chaotic in the best way. How long is a typical show? We do at least 90 minutes. I struggle. Anytime that I see a contract come through or an offer come through that's like 75 minutes, I'm like, no. No, I want to play. So, yeah, we typically do at least 90 minutes. I've definitely done more than 2 hours. Tour, you got to be considerate of several things. You know, you got a crew that's been working all day. You got a teardown crew that has to, you know, a local crew that has to be there at night. You got venue people who are there every day, you know, to put on so many shows for so many people. You know, all of these things have to go into consideration sometimes, and you gotta be efficient with your time. But yeah, I'll play as long as I can typically, because I love playing. That's where I'm the happiest. That is my happy place, is on stage. So, and I feel like the more that I feel my joy on stage, I don't know, I kind of just hope that people can feel it in the audience, and I don't know, maybe that's part of the energy that keeps them coming back, you know. Really excited to see a few of you guys talking about the VIP. We've done sound check things before, sound check parties, etc. But we really circled as a team on this one and said, all right, how can we make this special? Because I love, like, you know, all of my, like, VIP experiences, the goal is to have, like, a really personal interaction and connection. And I also love centering those things around music. And so this is kind of a best of both worlds. It'll be our first time doing a lot of these things during soundcheck too, but I'm really, really excited about it. So more than likely going to do some, like, request type stuff. Like I said, more than likely. So, do you guys have random people that just walk through the middle of your yard? The VIP hang is the sound check. It is before the show, because I really loved the after the show hang, but again, going back to being considerate to everyone else's schedule in life, ended up being really late, and, you know, a lot of people, you know, driving home late and work the next day, etc. So yeah, so it'll be earlier in the day to hopefully make logistics easier for everybody. That was our goal, so hopefully it helps. Well, I've got to, the dogs are rehearsing already. Yeah, they're getting ready for it. I've debated taking them on the road. Debating. So, yeah. So that's, yeah, that's what's going on right now. I gotta jump to, get on a meeting situation, and Ella is finally back. Do you want to say goodbye, Ella? Ella, come here. Come say goodbye. You signed up to do this with me. You did say that. There you go. No? Okay. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. If you haven't heard the 2 new songs, can't wait for you to hear them. About a Boy, Victory. Really proud of these. Really proud of the whole Red Sky project. Yeah. I say it all the time, but I mean it. You're the best part about what we do. Be good to yourselves. Be good to the world around you. Love you guys. Y'all have a good one. Cheers.